Hi, welcome back to Galley of the Sun, and got a lot of views on our little ninja obsession, and I've been asked, since I have my kids here and my grandchild here, to make some ice cream special for them. So this is the CREAMi that we're going to use tomorrow. We have to make our base today so that we can get it frozen. I'm going to make 4 bases, and you can see here I've got 4 containers. Ninja is still sold out of these, but we're going to get at least 4 more. So 2 of the bases, because my daughter absolutely loves mint chocolate chip and could probably sit down and eat 2 pints in a sitting by herself. So I'm going to make a double base of the mint. Tomorrow we'll spin it and I'll add the chocolate chips and I'll show you how that is. And then I'm going to make 2 other vanilla bases. And in those, one we're going to mix in Butterfingers, and the other one is going to be cookie dough. So I went and bought some cookie dough pop-ins, and these may be a little bit big, so I may have to cut them up a little bit smaller when we mix them in. Ben & Jerry's has some cookie dough bites too that you could get. I know they had a gingerbread and a snickerdoodle and a chocolate chip, but I found these at our Safeway, so that's what I got. So let's start off with putting the base together. It's really easy. It's like 5 minutes. I'm going to be doing a lot. The first one I'm going to do is I'm going to do a base of vanilla, and then I'm going to do the base of peppermint so you can see the difference. And then I'm going to let you go. I'm going to make the other bases, and then we'll come back tomorrow and we'll spin and I'll show you the mix-ins. So what we start off with, now I like to use the whipped cream cheese, and the recipe calls for 1 tablespoon of cream cheese. Well, that's the solid cream cheese. I like using the whipped because I just think it melts down a little better into the actual base, and you don't have to whisk so much and whip things up. So what actually ends up happening here is you'll probably do more like 2 tablespoons because it's whipped. It's already got air into it. And I could just kind of eyeball it because I've been doing this for a little while. And you just put it in there. And then we take it over to the microwave, and we microwave it for about 15 seconds. And that is on its regular high heat. My microwave has a minimum time setting of 15 seconds, so I just do that. And it'll be done in just a moment. 4, 3, 2, 1, done. And you can see it's melted a little bit, which is exactly what we want. And then I come in here, and it's 1/3 cup sugar. And I put that in. Now this is where I use the whisk, and this is why I like you just mix them together, kind of cream them together like you would butter and sugar in a cookie recipe or a cake recipe. So you get it creamed together, and it looks kind of like that. And I like to use this glass dish because when I put in the other liquids, it lets me see what's still sticking to the thing and what isn't mixed in. So that's why I like using the glass dish. If you don't have a glass dish, by all means, don't worry about it. Just remember, you might want to tilt the bowl a little bit to make sure you've got everything mixed in. Next thing up is, it is 1 cup of whole milk. Happen to like Fairlife, so that's what we use. You can use any kind of whole milk you like. Now I mix the Fairlife in first because then I'm not whipping the whipped cream or the heavy cream that goes into it too much. And then with the vanilla base, I like to use, the recipe calls for 1 teaspoon. I actually like to double that. So I put in 1 of the liquid, and then I usually put in, if you don't get this, vanilla bean paste. This is awesome. So like the vanilla bean flecks that you'll see in like vanilla bean ice cream, you can get that from this paste. And I just give it a nice big old squirt. And I have another jar or tube of it out here. It's worth getting because it's really good. And then I just give it a good mix with the whisk here to get the sugar and cream cheese combined with the milk and the vanilla. And this is where I like the glass because I can take a look and see what I've got that I need to mix in better. There we go. And then it's 3/4 cup of the whipping cream. When I say that this is easy, this is so easy. And I like a little bit stronger flavors, which is why I use a little bit more vanilla and stuff when I make the bases. Now I use this vanilla base, and I will add like 2 tablespoons of dark chocolate cocoa powder, the unsweetened, to make chocolate. I've started with the vanilla base and mixed in about a tablespoon of espresso powder to make a Java base, and then put chips in it for Java chips. So this is how easy this is. This is probably pretty well mixed in here. And you just pour it into the CREAMi pint. And I can see just a little bit that is stuck here, so we're just gonna get that around in the corners. Because, you know, you want all the sugar in there. This is ice cream, come on. All right, and you see it has filled it up to the line on the pint, which is, if you follow the CREAMi directions, that's exactly what you're supposed to do. Then we put this in here, and these will go into the freezer and freeze overnight. And then tomorrow I will show you when we mix them. So that is the vanilla base. Simple, easy, wonderful. So now I'm going to go do one of the peppermint bases, so you can see this, because, you know, I got a kid that loves peppermint chip ice cream, like loves it. So we heat up that cream cheese one more time. Okay. Give it a little whiskey thing to kind of help melt it down a little bit. We go with that 1/3 cup of sugar again. Give that a mix in. Now, instead of mixing vanilla bean with this, because we want the peppermint, I do mix in the vanilla. And by putting the vanilla in, you know, because the CREAMi recipe just calls to use peppermint extract. But putting the vanilla in, the 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and then a teaspoon of the peppermint extract, it really gives it that nice creamy flavor, so that when you taste this, it tastes like York peppermint patties.
Yum, 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 yum.
We'll give that a good stir here real quick, and then pour the milk in. And it doesn't matter if you put your extracts in before or after you do the milk. It really doesn't. I like to put this in when I do the peppermint before I put the milk. But that's just for the peppermint, so that I think it blends a little better. Then your cup of milk. Let's get that stirred around. Get that all mixed in there. I like you using the little whisk for this. I think you got better control, but if you don't have a little whisk, that's fine. Use a fork, use a big whisk. If you want to use a spoon to stir it around, be my guest. Just make sure that you get it all blended in there. And you'll find our other little obsession with things like measuring cups and measuring things is Pampered Chef. So yay to Pampered Chef for that. And then we go with our 1/3 cup of, our 3/4 cup, sorry, of heavy whipping cream. You can tell I've done this a lot because I know this recipe by heart. This is in the CREAMi book and on the Ninja website in the recipes. So we just blend that up, and you can already smell that wonderful peppermint flavor.
Yum, 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 yum.
Put that in there. Oh, perfect. We've got this done. Okay. So I'm going to let you go now, and I'm going to finish the other peppermint base and the other vanilla base and get these in the freezer, and we'll be back with you tomorrow to mix these up and make them right. All right, we are back with the CREAMies. I've got the peppermint on this side, I've got the vanilla on this side, and we are getting ready to get these spun up and get the add-ins in. So I'm going to do the vanilla first so that I can just do both vanillas, and then we'll clean the lid and do the peppermints. Now with the vanillas, we're doing the mix-ins of Butterfinger pieces and cookie dough. So we're gonna have some Butterfinger and some cookie dough ice cream. And then in the mint chocolate chip, we're putting in the mini chocolate chips. So the CREAMi comes with a lid like this, and you have this little lever that releases the blade. And then you just move that lever back again like that and let it release, and it'll catch the blade. Now the wonderful thing about using these is these are specially designed to be used with the lid, or the cup for it. So you just slide this in, and then it fits into the bottom like that, and you can see it's all nice and frozen. And you put the lid in and you lock it in place. Then we come over here to the CREAMi, and it all locks in, it all fits in, you can feel it, and then you just turn this and it goes up and it locks in there. We turn the power on, we hit ice cream. This is going to be loud. And it does what it's supposed to do, and you can see the progress up here. And it'll automatically stop when it is done spinning. So now we wait and we let it spin. Okay, so it's all done with the first spin. So we're going to release it. You just press this button over here and you see it releases it, and you just spin it back down. And then we unlock the lid from this little button right here and bring it back. And you see it kind of stuck to it a little bit, so we're just going to just check it and see if it is spun up enough, or if we need to do a respin on it. I think I'm going to do a respin on this because these were really frozen, and I want it to be nice and creamy to put in the add-ins. So we're just going to put the lid back on it. Well, put it in here and put the lid back on it. And if your freezer is really, really frozen, you should leave these out for about 10 minutes and let them thaw a little bit. And then when you spin it, if it looks like it's kind of like a little bit crystally, then you just do a respin on it. So in this case, the respin button is right down here, and we're just going to do a real quick respin. Now while that spins, I'm going to talk a little bit louder here so you can hear me over it. I actually set out some extra containers because I'm going to make 4 more vanilla bases so we could make some strawberry and some basic vanilla to have with other things, because, you know, in this house we like the variety. Again, we release it the same way. It's this little button off to the side, releases it, bring it back down to the front, it drops down. You can get out of it. There we go. That spun it a little better, gave me a center section off of it so that I can do my mix-ins, which this one I think we're going to do as the Butterfinger mix-in. So I've got about a 1/4 cup of Butterfinger pieces. You can actually buy these already crushed up, or you can take a bar and crush your own. We're going to put that back in here, and we're going to lock that lid back on. And the wonderful thing about this is everything fits in just perfectly. So if you don't have something in there right, it's not gonna work. So you will know when you have it right. And then we just bring it back up, and you have a mix-in button, and we're just gonna press that mix-in button. Again, it's gonna be a little loud, but I'm gonna go wash my paws. Mix-in function, not quite as loud as the spin functions. And again, you have the meter bar telling you how far along it is. So as you can see, this is like super, super easy to do. Press the button to release it. Bring that handle back around front. We can get in here. Take the lid off. And voila, we have Butterfinger ice cream. Now, like I said, I use these in different containers so that I can remake the base in this. So this is just a simple, the 1-pint container. It works out perfectly for these, and you can see just how smooth that is. This will harden up a little bit when you put it back in the freezer. So when you want to go eat it, just let it sit out for a few minutes, kind of like you would do with any kind of ice cream if your freezer is really, really cold. But look, you can see all that Butterfinger mixed in through there. It's gonna be so good. I'm gonna try this in just a second too, because, you know, I have to, it's ice cream. And I just mush it down in there. Try to fill all the air gaps because this will be very, very full. And I have a slightly bigger one for the cookie dough ice cream because the cookie dough pieces are a little bit bigger. Yummy. So if y'all like Butterfingers, they're great mix in. And we're just gonna put the lid on this, and then this will go into the freezer. You might need a strong hand to open this because it's really full. So this next batch of vanilla, we're gonna just get going in here. And it's okay that I haven't cleaned this because this is just a vanilla base for both of them, and the flavor is not gonna really transfer much because it's cookie dough, butter. You're fine. Now, do you want to do that when we do the peppermint? No, because the peppermint's a strong flavor. So you probably will want to wash this first before we do a peppermint to some other ice cream flavor. And we spin this one. And I may only need to spin this one once because it's actually been sitting out a little bit, so it got a chance to thaw a little bit. And I think I actually hit mix in on this instead of ice cream, so I'm gonna just do a respin cycle on this. Those mistakes happen, you just respin it. So I'm gonna leave this in here, and I'm just gonna hit the respin on this. There we go, now we're on spin. Hit the release button, bring it down. Open this back up. Oh yeah, there we go. See, that's spun much better. I'm just opening up the center of it so we can put our mix-ins in. And then we're gonna hit mix in again. Now I've got probably about a half a cup of cookie dough pieces here. Because these are gonna get chopped up some when we put it through the mix-in cycle, I'm gonna add about half because I do wanna kind of keep some of the bigger pieces, and then I'll hand mix those in. So I count about that. You know, because we like our cookie dough bites. Let's hit the mix in properly this time. And we're on October 1st, so I get to use my Frankenstein spatula. All right, so that's done. Let's go ahead and release it. And you can see we've got all the cookie dough pieces in there. Now, like I said, I like to put extra cookie dough in there. So we're gonna go with a slightly bigger than pint container here. And we're gonna get this in there. And you can see it's nice and creamy, just like the Butterfinger was. But I'm gonna put about half in, and then I'm gonna put some cookie dough pieces, and then mush that around in there, and then put the other half in. And these are great because you see how many different ones we're making. Say, you know, you got a bunch of kids in the home and they each like a different flavor. You're good to go with this. Would I do this for a great big huge kids party? Oh no, I'd be buying. However, for my family and like just your family or, you know, special guests, and they like particular ice creams, you can do this. Put the rest of the cookie dough pieces here on top. There we go. And I'm just kind of mushing it through, getting it all kind of mixed in there. And you can see it's a little bit melty, and that's okay because it's just going to refreeze. It's going to be fine. But when you do this, you don't want to put in great big huge chunks of stuff but you don't want to put in like little tiny itty bitty chunks of stuff either, because some of it will get cut up by this. So let's go ahead and try the cookie dough real quick. Yummy. Love the cookie dough. Yep. I'm gonna look at the spatula. Okay, let's get this one back into the freezer. Now at this point, I'm gonna just go in and rinse this off in really hot water. So I just rinsed it off real good, gave it a little paper towel dry. We're gonna pop our peppermint base in, and we're gonna get that spun. Press the ice cream button and away it goes. All right, we're done spinning on the first peppermint. Lid off. You can see it spun pretty good. Got that wonderful peppermint smell to it. I'm gonna open up the center of this as best as I can. And this is part of what they tell you to do in the CREAMi book, the manual, is to try to open up the center. but it's kind of creamy, so it may not. Now I've got a 1/2 cup of mini chocolate chips here. I'm going to pour about half of a cup, so 1/4 cup in. And it's not really opening up the center, so I'm just going to kind of mush them down in there. Kind of almost at soft serve right now. You could actually do this yourself and mix it in. So I'm going to show you how I do that just because it's at soft serve. So there's about 1/4 of that. And I just take this and in it goes. And we just fold and turn and fold and turn. And then since I'm making a double batch, I got a bigger container. And in it goes. I could have even put the chocolate chips in here. And if you want more chocolate chips than what it asked for, you know, absolutely go for it. You may not be able to do it in the mix-in function in there because there may not be enough space. You do it in a container like this, you got plenty of space. And you can see it's kind of at a soft serve right now. So when we put this back in the freezer, it'll harden up some and be more like the traditional ice cream that you're used to. That spun up pretty good. I think I'm just going to put this in here and mix the rest of the chocolate chips in. And I may actually get a couple more, a little bit more chocolate chips just because, you know, I like the chocolate chips. The semi-sweet dark mini chips. Mmm.
Yum, 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 yum.
So give me just a second. I'm going to go get my bag of mini chips. We're just going to add some more because I've got room in here.
Yum, 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 yum.
There we go. Lots of chocolate chips.
Yum, 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 yum.
And just because I'm making this big batch is why I'm doing it in this container versus doing it in the mix-in function and that. But you can definitely do it in the mix-in function and store it all in the same container. Unless you're like us and you are going to make a bunch of ice cream at once of different flavors and stuff, and you need the containers because Ninja's still out of the extra containers. But let me tell you, when they get new ones in, oh, we are so getting them. And you see, this is like a soft serve right now, but it's got a nice smattering of all those chocolate chips. And they're well blended in. So let's do a little taste of this. Like a York peppermint patty. It's so good. If you want a little bit of extra peppermint in it because you like that flavor and you want it stronger, you add a little bit more extra extract when you make your base. So if you like what you've seen here today, hit that like button. Hit our subscribe button so you can be notified of when all of this stuff comes up again for all of our different videos. We will be showing you more Ninja products as well as everything else that we do. Leave a comment. If you've tried an ice cream or you want to see if we will try an ice cream for you, leave a comment. We'll be happy to try it. And down below, I'll leave you my recipe that is based off of the Ninja recipe, but I've modified it a little bit for our taste. So thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you next time on Galley of the Sun. Bye.